What's up, gang? How you guys doing? I am about to get started on my daily podcast, right? I started doing this maybe a few weeks ago, just filming my daily podcast, putting them up on YouTube, and so you guys could check them out and look at them. And when I hit episode 365, I'm going to put together some of the best lessons or whatever over time, and and hopefully give you guys some great content, something that you guys can learn from, grow from, and begin to create the type of life that you want. I am doing these sessions right now with only, I don't know, about 48 followers on my podcast total, maybe. Um, I have to do some things such as work on traffic and email list and a lot of other things. I spent a lot of time, as my mentor said, working on the physical products. Right? I wrote my book. I created my audiobook. I got them all listed. On Amazon and Audible and all of these other things, Barnes and Nobles, and so I worked on a physical product. But um, it's the same as when a tree falls in the forest and nobody's around. Will anybody hear it? Um, that is it. So I have to begin to work on that. I did get a whole case of books in. My books are in. So I'm going to be doing some autographed copies and sending those out to people in my community. Just thanking them for supporting me. And I'm thanking you for supporting me for checking this video out today as I move on to my daily podcast. All right. So here we go. What's up, gang? How you guys doing? It is Lieutenant Sal Blue, 28-year law enforcement veteran and author of the top 25 mistakes en route to the good life. Twice. That's right. Second edition just out, guys. Just blasted off that second edition, and I am excited about it. I'm excited about the second edition. It looks beautiful. It looks beautiful, and it reads very easy, guys. That book reads very easy, and I just want you guys to know that and redoing the book, I redo the book because of I had people coming to me saying it's a lot of material, tons of stuff to cover, very hard to digest the way you put out the first edition. So I rewrote it, right? Because I listen to people and try to give them what they want to help to move forward. That is very important, guys. When you are coaching people, helping people, mentoring people, you first have to listen. And I know that's very hard for a lot of people to do. It's very hard for a lot of people to listen first to what someone's trying to tell you, how they're trying to tell you it, because it's a lot of things you have to recognize when you're trying to help somebody along the way, right? You have to know their pain points and what motivates them and what is truly the deepest rooted problem, and I say the 10th why. And the reason why I call it the 10th why is because you really have to go about 10 whys into a person when you are trying to help them through whatever they're dealing with, right? You have to go about 10 whys deep to truly find out what motivated them to get them in that position in the first place. So it's the 10th why, right? You just got to go deep on it, man. And so I'm trying to teach a lot of people to learn how to listen and learn. And so in doing so, guys, one of the things that I realize is that I need to listen and learn from myself, right? So what I do every day, I journal every day, and that is just my regular journaling routine in the morning. But later on in the day, I pull out my yellow pad and I take about 15 minutes of silence and just write out, my thoughts. What is going through my head right now, and what direction am I going in, and what direction do I need to go in order to create the life that I want. And so this is important. This is important to always be writing. Number one, always be writing out your thoughts and always be examining your thoughts that go through your head. You have to be a constant examiner of your thoughts. because your thoughts will guide you in your direction. They will cause the direction that that will create your life, basically, guys. And so, also, the reason why I tell you guys to examine your thoughts is because a lot of times other people, they put thoughts into your mind, and you run around and you think you have an original thought when the fact is someone's manipulating you, someone's using you, someone is placing thoughts in your head and making you think that those thoughts are yours. And people are really good at that, guys. So you got to be careful of that. So in today's podcast, right, I'm gonna go to my little laptop here as I edit my book, mentor mentor questions, top 25 mistakes mentor questions. Don't know what I'm gonna name the book just yet, but it's gonna be a small book full of some questions and pages that you can write and figure out your thoughts and questions that you need to be asking yourself on a regular basis, right? So, and that's what these questions are. These questions are questions that you need to ask yourself on a regular basis, and questions that will move you forward in your life. So you guys got to pay close attention to a lot of these questions because they are um, very, very deep. They go very to the core of what makes you who you are, you know. So I always tell people that your environment is your destiny, and what your environment does is your environment shapes and molds questions and answers to those questions based on your circle of influence. So sometimes if you don't truly know the answer to something that maybe you've seen in my book or I asked you a question, if you don't know the answer to one of those things, a lot of times if you ask one of the people that you're around, they may not know the answer for themselves, but they'll know the answer for you, and that's scary, right? That's scary because if you're not having the life that you want, and the people you're around are not having the life that they want, and you're asking this question, um, it is probably the fact that we know more about other people a lot of times than we know about ourselves. And it's sad. You know, I know people know more about the Kardashians and their birthdays and everything else that they're doing than they know about themselves, about them deep inner selves. You know, truly deep thoughts, thoughts that motivate you and move you and get you excited. So just take that in note. So the first question I want to get to is straight from my book mentors questions is when you look in the mirror, what do you see? Now, in my book, I got a little note for you guys to help you to move you forward in the thought process of trying to figure out what do you see when you look in the mirror and why I asked that question, right? And my note is how you see yourself is a direct reflection of your environment. And we talked about that. We talked about our environment. You know, in some circles, right? I know one of the circles I'm in, having six-figure job was like hitting the lottery. But when I changed my circle of influence, my view of myself changed to that of an underachiever. How about that, right? At in one circle, I was a lottery winner. In another circle, I was an underachiever, guys. I was a guy who was not pursuing my goals, a guy who was not doing what I wanted to do with my life, a guy who was trading time for dollars, right? I was sacrificing my time and my life for a mere six figures, okay? And once everybody in my circle of influence began to explain that to me, and I saw that they were doing other things with their lives, I began to feel different about what I was doing and how I was doing it. Yes, I now felt that I was an underachiever, guys, and so that wasn't working for me. And I had to begin to change. I had to become an implementer. I had to become a producer. So I began producing content, publishing content, writing books, audio books, podcasts, everything, right? Because what I truly want to do is help people. And you can't help people by keeping to yourself, guys. You just can't do it. You got to get out there and you got to give to as many people as possible in order to create the life that you want. So the last part of that question, part of my notes that I wrote down for you guys was looking in the mirror is great, but don't beat yourself up too bad. So now I tell people all the time, you always have to evaluate yourself and you have to be honest with yourself. But in doing so, never beat yourself up, right? Never beat yourself up. I saw a quote about the warrior inside of you. He needs you. The warrior inside of you. And I don't even have the quote right here. It's probably I saw it on Instagram. Was maybe I bookmarked it. Who knows? But they talked about the warrior inside of you, right? And if you begin to beat yourself up, what you do is you break down that warrior inside of you that sees you. You need that warrior inside of you to be strong. So you constantly need to be building that warrior up to make that warrior the best that they can be. You need to nourish that warrior with the right environment. You need to nourish that warrior with the right books. You need to nourish that warrior, okay, with the right relationships. This is important, guys. It is a great person inside of all of us trying to get out, and in order to do that, guys, it takes the proper nutrition. I say proper nutrition because I used to be a personal trainer for many years, and I know that no matter how hard you work out, no matter how much effort you put in, no matter how much knowledge you have about the muscles and the body and everything else about it, if you don't nourish yourself, your body, right, and your mind as well, you will not see results. You will not see the results that you think you're going to achieve, by looking at people's results from the outside in. And so you need to have a good assessment of who you are. I talked about that in a previous one. And you have to know, be honest with yourself, right? Who do you see when you look in the mirror, right? I told you, when I changed my circle of influence, my opinion of myself changed, right? My opinion of myself changed because what I realized was that I wasn't reaching anybody. I wasn't reaching anybody. That my six-figure income came from somebody making 10 figures because they decided that it would be a lot easier to have me do that work and pay me six figures than for them to step down and have to do that work themselves. You guys get what I'm saying? And this is for me. This was just law enforcement. So imagine all the other different jobs, non-state jobs, corporate jobs, or whatever. The person at the top is the one who says that the skill that you're doing is important and needs to be taken care of, right? Such as mopping the floor or taking out the trash. But it is not important enough for him to do it, so he would rather pay you to do it so he can level up here and spend time um, doing things that move the company forward. I mean, it makes sense, guys. It does make sense, but you have to stop being the guy taking out the trash and the guy sweeping the floor. Okay? You need to be the producer and the implementer, the guy who's going to make things happen for either the company, right? So you need to be doing a whole lot more than what you're doing, or for yourself, guys, for yourself. So what I'm doing, I made a